Hello everybody and welcome back to this week's update on construction going on around the Disneyland Resort. This will be a brief one though, as there's really not a lot going on at the moment, with the main story being yet another interesting development at the Toon Town entrance. Here's the path as it looked on Saturday, and on the left you can see the beginnings of a rail. And if you've been watching this show frequently the past few months, you'll know this is something that we've been waiting for, at least in terms of defining this as being some kind of path. Before I had said that if it were a path, it would have a handrail, but what I was not expecting was a rail on the left side. I was looking for a rail on the right side. Why? Well, that's where the fall hazard is, in my opinion. Let's go back in time a bit so we can see better. The right side of the path is a couple feet above the level set by the main entrance path, but it's just a few inches off the ground from the left side, the side that people are actually walking on or would be walking on. So it's an easy, misstep from to a 2-foot fall, which is, hazardous. Unless the rail on the left side is ADA, the kind of rail that allows someone, in a wheelchair to pull themselves up the path if they're by themselves, for example. So that's the only reason I could think of to have a rail on that side of the path. We go back and forth. It is ADA. It's not ADA. It is ADA. I don't know. I don't know. But here's what we got. Here's another shot from the Fresh Bake Street team. Thank you very much to Marty. And it shows a more complete rail this is from Monday morning, I believe. So let's just assume then that this is a path, because now you have a rail, and you don't put a rail in there if it's not a path, right? Anyway, if it's a path, there's still a question, a really big question. This is the thing that's baffling me above all else. Where is the path taking you? That is a definite left turn behind the Small World gift shop. Okay, you know what? Let's keep the tape rolling this time, because this is kind of hilarious. That left turn takes you directly into those bushes. Now, we'll run a little further, and you can see that where it could maybe someday connect with the Small World exit ramp, someday being the operative word, because clearly that's not something that is happening today. They haven't even begun that kind of process. So far, they would be just having built the path or building the path. But it seems clear either way that whatever the intended purpose of that path is, it won't be revealed for a very long time. Perhaps not until they reopen Toon Town in 23, because there's no chance we're going to see them do that today. But in the same way, there's no way that the path here is the end. It can't be. So is it possible this whole path is just for Small World? A way for guests, maybe just disabled guests, but maybe anyone, for guests to exit Small World. Certainly it's not a way in. Well, I guess it could be. But it seems more likely it's a way for guests to exit Small World and then take this path directly into Toon Town. Maybe. I don't know why they think this is a good idea, or why it's even necessary in either direction. And I know this is a trivial thing to be focused on, but we're just trying to have fun with it is all. I don't know about you, but I find it very enjoyable trying to figure out, what things are going to wind up being. But I guess we'll have to wait another week for more info so we can change our minds again. By the way, as for Small World, I don't have a lot of news to report on what is happening. There's not a lot of information being given, either publicly or on the DL. Right now, the attraction is scheduled to be reopened on December 5th, but it's been pushed back twice already to get to that date, December 5th. So it's entirely possible it gets pushed back again forever. The only thing that I can say is that the secondhand info that I'm hearing is not great, but it's also just rumor, hearsay. It's nothing that can be vetted, just people talking. I have no idea how accurate it might be, but it's not great. The only thing that's good news is that there is a scheduled opening for December 5th, so we'll stand by. Now, there are other construction projects going on around the resort. They're just sort of inert. Here's our latest from the Finding Nemo Lagoon. Not much to report here, I'm afraid, as it looks just about the same as it did when we checked in last. All that scaffolding is essentially for the reef rocks. New paint, as usual. No updates on its return other than winter. I'm assuming this means January or February of next year. We know it's on the closed calendar until January. That much we do know. Same is true for Tarzan's Treehouse. Still completely under scrim, and there's no way to see what's going on back there. I have tried. As mentioned a while back, it is my understanding that they're replacing all the natural wood features throughout the treehouse, and that could take a little while, I would think. It has already taken a while. The park schedule goes only to January 11th, but it does show the treehouse still closed at that point. So yeah, this is going to be a long-term project. We're looking at least another month and a half. And finally, also on the park calendar for January 10th is a closure of Splash Mountain. And of course, the next question naturally from many folks is if this is for the Princess and the Frog reskin. My short answer to that is no, probably not. Not saying that I know for sure. The thing I do know is that Splash Mountain closes every year after the holiday season is over. It is tradition for Splash Mountain to close in January because that's the time you do all your refurb work at a period when nobody wants to go on a water ride. So yeah, that's my expectation, is that this is just its regularly scheduled yearly refurb for January. We haven't heard even a whisper of there being any kind of movement in terms of beginning the project, the Princess and the Frog project. I'm pretty sure they have plans and specs. They've probably drawn up that kind of stuff. They maybe even fabricated some of the elements, some of the set pieces, etc. But I think we're still a ways off from this happening. I will also say this. If there were designs on this being, a closure to update for Princess and the Frog, we would have heard something about that. Either publicly from Disney, or there would have been, leaks. There would have definitely been leaks to somebody. Maybe not to me, but some Disney news source would have heard something to that effect. The fact that we haven't heard anything is not, is a sign that they haven't made a decision yet. And you might say, well, maybe they're trying to keep it quiet. They don't do that, generally speaking. Very little. Disney is all in on telling us what is happening way before it happens. We got this news from Princess and the Frog, last year. A year and a half ago almost now? How long's it been? Way earlier than, it was just concept art. That's all they had basically was concept art and maybe some ideas. So Disney's in the habit of putting information out there very early, as opposed to some theme parks that, wait until the very last minute they try to surprise you. But that is not Disney's MO. Disney's MO is to tell you early. In fact, and this is something I've been saying since the news of the Princess and the Frog reskin announcement happened, it may never happen. Now, I don't know anything either way, just a feeling that I have, but I would not be surprised at all if this project were canceled. But that's a conversation for another video. For now, we'll end this update here and ask you all to follow us on Instagram at _freshbaked, on Twitter at freshbakedisney, that's fresh with no E, and on TikTok at freshbakedisney. And if you enjoy our show and would like to show your support, please do consider joining our Patreon campaign at patreon.com/freshbaked. Otherwise, we love you guys very much. Thank you for watching. Be safe out there. Be kind to one another. And fresh baked.